And greetings from Grameenphone and Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My topic, as you see, that alpha return. So we don't have any actually solid one alpha return definition, right? So it differs from industry to industry. And for telco, it could be like 15% to have a very good alpha return if it is more than the sectoral return of an investment. But yesterday, when I was in this event, this inauguration event, the BIDA chairman at his opening speech mentioned that just don't join for your economic benefit. How can you join to transform the country? That join the transformative journey of a nation. And then we also heard from our Honorable Chief Advisor. He talked about make profit, good profit, but how can you give a little bit towards the society where you are doing business? If this happens, if a company gets alpha return and the nation and society gets return, is there a separate definition? Is that something called alpha² return? If it is both. I believe the story of Grameenphone is alpha² return. If we talk about last 28 years of Grameenphone story. On top of that, if you are investing into this country, the story of Grameenphone, the way it has navigated over the last 28 years, we believe that it is possible to invest first time into a country and become multinational. If you see what is there in the back, the logo of Grameenphone back in 1997 to 2006, and eventually the organization becomes a true global multinational. Grameenphone is the first investment for Telenor in Asia, and the second investment as a whole altogether. So within that last 28 years, journey of Telenor being a global player in the telecom space is actually a journey of also Grameenphone, starting in Bangladesh. It's a hands-on together. It's the same time. A local, a Nordic company becoming a global, multinational, global player in the telecom space. And that's how you can believe in this country when you invest. Yes, I will talk about, of course, there are risks, there are challenges, there are hurdles, but it is possible. When we talk about alpha return for us, for Grameenphone, and then I try to define if that alpha return happens for the society as well, and if it is alpha² return, how does it look like? So we are number one in market cap. 400 billion dividends since it's, in the capital market from 2009. At this point of time, yield is 10% plus, 15% plus return on assets. Of course, we talk about this is, if you take telecom industry, the return is standard probably 7 to 9%. And if you come to Bangladesh, if there are high risk, you'd obviously expect that the 15% return is there to have a long-term sustainability of your business. But then you go to then the contribution to the nation. It's not only when we say the big telco operation, it is also the second largest in terms of when we contribute to the national exchequer. Our contribution over the last 28 years in 1.3 trillion BDT to the national exchequer. We are number one and number two always as a taxpayer, and we are happy to be really compliant and to contribute. When we say that return is for us, the return should also go to the national exchequer, and return will also go to the society, the individuals. And there comes the communities, We are working relentlessly. From the inception, the story we heard yesterday, for the rural women to empower with mobile connectivity. That journey still continues, probably a little different model. Giving the digital literacy to the rural people, to the children in the school, in the primary school, towards the parents, towards the teachers. Because it has to be inclusive, everyone, when we get into the journey of digital economy in Bangladesh. 3.1 million people, women, 55% of them are women, trained on digital skills over the last 4 years. And it's not through the digital platforms, in being onto the ground, one-on-one, in-person training programs ran by the organization. And that's how, probably, when we saw the topic navigating Bangladesh is, it's, yes, of course you get the return. Of course you contribute back to the national exchequer. Of course you contribute back to the society. And these numbers is always meaningful. This navigation in Bangladesh, always meaningful. When you have this, when you focus the true essence of your service, in the center of everything is this 84.9 million customers we have in Grameenphone network. We talk about regulations, we talk about policies, we talk about our spectrum, our innovation. Everything, if we bring them into the center, things get easier. Because regulation is not for probably the companies to make money. Regulations is these customers to get the service and really get empowered, embarked on the journey of digital inclusion. And then this is not only numbers. These are individuals. They are making difference in the society. And there we are navigating. There we are trying to do difference, make difference. At the end, probably in the balance sheet, we see the alpha return for us, for the society, for the country. But this is what we do every day, every minute, and every second. And these 3 stories, I'll not have much more than probably talking about these 3 stories, is experienced by myself on the ground in all across Bangladesh. There are millions of such stories. The first one, Chumki Rani Borman, is from a Sunamganj fisherman community, very small, underprivileged community, using YouTube, learning the modern design of dresses for girls and selling those into that community at a very low price. And she is getting motivated by the smile of those girls. Those are buying these small dresses. We see it's for her, it's life. For us, it's business. We are talking about connectivity because she's giving them the possibility of, the payment for her. YouTube is doing business there. And they are what not? Designer, health, education. This is the business. And there, how can you serve better? With your seamless services, with better regulation and better policies. Moon, in the middle, is a mango grower in Rajshahi. When I met him first time 5 years back, and when we met recently, there's a big difference. He didn't know how to sell mangoes. He was selling mangoes over truck in Dhaka, and those were getting rotted. And he was not able to sell. Now he's sending mangoes to Germany. He started Facebook commerce without training. He got certified by the Agricultural Ministry, and now he is doing that. There comes again all this fintech. There comes all those solutions that he needs to really make difference in that small community. He is that inspiring story behind our Alpha Return. Last but not least, Pooja, I met her in Tea Garden. This girl is an amazing story. During COVID, they got out of school. And was it a time to drop from the school or not? And her father bought one 6-inch device for 5 girls to, fulfill the gap of having the teachers because they were not able to travel during COVID period. All 5 of them passed SSC examination, riding on that small device. And they are now, after 3 years, they are now preparing for the universities. These are the stories. When we can serve, we can think our services to bring in, we will thrive. That's probably all the story I have. But when we talk about them, the Grameenphone, out of our social commitment, we also run different programs to also enable them to fulfill their gap. We have a program called GP Academy. We have different training programs. We have so far enabled more than 100,000 students from different universities to get different skills starting from AI to basic, freelancing services. We have GP Accelerator. We have actually hosted more than 100 startups to equip them with the assets we have so that they can take their ideas to the market. We have Interneted Dunia Shobar, which is Internet for All. We have covered within 2 years more than 2,000 unions to train women on the basic e-commerce knowledge and skill set. And that's how it's possible to really win-win. Their inspiring mind, their ideas, their resilience, their creativity. How can you ignite with your service and make a situation where it's win-win? It's like from a CEO of Grameenphone, as an investor's perspective, if you ask and whether I invite, I first ask myself whether I get that urge from my board to invest before I ask you to invest in Bangladesh. So my first message is, of course, it is not impossible. I see within that impossible, it is I am possible. We have a situation, probably there were no regulation to a micro-regulation situation. We have seen that. We have got into a difficult situation. We have a situation of warm environment to come and establish business, inviting Norwegians to come here, from there to financial disputes. It's not easy. There are hurdles, but are you believing in those, your true essence of your service, those customers? Are you able to make the difference? Everything will get sorted out one day, today and tomorrow. And today when we hear, yesterday we heard from our beta chairman, and today we heard from our policy advisor, to the chief advisor, Tayyab Bhai. All are talking about how they are making the policies even more friendly towards the business, the regulations. If that is so, I will ask and urge, let's put our hands together to take this transformative journey of Bangladesh forward. I'll not get into the details of this economy, demography, reform. There are so many other reasons to invest, our geographic location, our talents, the youth in Bangladesh, in this country. Nowhere you can go and have the age of people like me to mold, hold, and develop them to serve the customers. You can come to Bangladesh, where you will have the youth, where you can really build your own culture. You can mold them, hold them together. You can learn from them and make them learn something new and innovate services. So it's not only economy, it's not only demography, it's not only reform, what is happening in the society. It is not only the geographic location, it is also those youth as in power in Bangladesh if you set a business. And if you can navigate through this with your firmness, you are there to get the Alpha return. Thank you very much.